The Pain in Our Head podcast contains themes of coarse language, adult themes, and the discussion of mental health themes. Some content may be emotionally challenging. If you or someone you know is at risk, please visit the description for mental health and suicide prevention contacts. Enjoy the show. What's going on? I'm Caleb.
Howdy, I'm Christian.
Welcome to the next installment of the Pain in Our Head podcast.
Yeah, let's go, boy.
Welcome to episode, I'm not even going to say episode, who cares? Welcome to this week's episode of the Pain in Our Head podcast, Anger from Pain. I'm really excited about this episode. I really am. This is going to be a good one. We're going to chat about anger management, what makes us feel rage, anger, how we try to handle that anger. We're going to gloss over those sort of things. We're going to have a bit of a chat about why or how we can manage anger. And as always, we're gonna look at five tips that I've found that apparently can help manage anger. And as always, we are going to talk about music at the latter end of the podcast.
I'm super keen to talk about the music this time. I'm very excited about this one.
Yes. So we both have really, really good songs lined up. So without further ado, let's get into it. Anger. I get angry all the time.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think I've been angry at you. I'll just put that out now.
We might have come close in like a League of Legends game.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, that's a different story. It's always, when we're playing games. I wouldn't say anger's acceptable in games. But I think a little bit of anger towards your friends, definitely good bit of fun. Anyway, using anger as an unhealthy way of dealing with pain, I think that's the whole concept that we're going to chat about. That's where a lot of my anger comes from, I think. Traumatic experiences, whether they're past or present experiences. Those sort of things can work up my pain. Will work up my pain, which then contract the anger. Yeah. But I bottle it in. And I mean, I've heard or I've read, I've been told that's not healthy. Don't bottle it in. Make sure you communicate. That's a big thing, right? Communication is key. I've heard that so many times in my life. But I believe it. I do. And I think it's helped me in many situations as well. I think it's helped me manage my anger when I've communicated effectively with people.
Yeah, definitely. I think it definitely kind of bleeds off the boiling point if you can express how you're feeling and why you're feeling that to somebody. Like, not even specifically if somebody has triggered this sort of reaction. If you can effectively communicate with somebody and say, hey, look, this situation has got me feeling quite frustrated right now. Can I talk to you about it? And even just doing that can be enough to really simmer down that boiling point. And so you don't get to the point where you are angry and at risk of, not having that kind of control over yourself. I know myself, I used to be quite a volatile person. I'll admit that. For years, I loved fighting, whether it was physical or verbal. I absolutely thrived on it. I would just look for arguments to have, and if it led to a physical altercation, then so be it. And that's an extremely unhealthy way to deal with anger. And I spent a lot of
Yeah.
time learning how to cope with anger and how to effectively communicate with people around you, whether it be them or a situation that's triggering you, how to just say, this is triggering me and I need to take a step back and catch my breath, have a think on things, because no one's going to think less of you. I think that's a big problem today, is that people get to that point where they're angry and they don't want to look weak and back down, but there's nothing weak about stepping away from a situation and going, no, I don't want to escalate this. You're not going to be seen as weak for doing that. You're going to be seen as a responsible adult.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Taking that time away, it's a good way of dealing with that sort of thing. Stepping away from a situation, you become the bigger person in a sense. You know, it's a really mature thing, I think, to be able to do. And I'm in the same boat. It is,
being the bigger person's important for us. We're both 176 centimeters, so being bigger for once in our life is a good thing.
Oh no, I don't pick fights because I always got to look up and go, oh no. But I mean, it's been a bane of my life, you know. You mentioned as well, and I've always had a lot of pent up anger, rage. Maybe it's a little person syndrome. Maybe it's our height.
We're lambs, little angry men.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, that's a category I try not to fall into either. Yeah, you know, But yeah, I've had problems. It's been the bane of my life, dealing with anger management issues and that sort of thing. It's tricky, and it's an ongoing process too. I'm not perfect. Can't say I am ever perfect. I think there's been scenarios, you know, that I've learnt to get better at, that maybe years ago I would have absolutely flown off the handle and just been an uncontrollable, violent mess. And I think as I've learnt more and more, I've gotten a lot better at controlling those emotions, explaining or communicating my feelings, and then stepping away from whatever scenario it might be and taking a second to have a think about what it is that's really boiling us up and how I can move away from that to move forward.
Yeah.
So that's, communication, I mean, we kind of briefly just touched on that, but just expressing those feelings, it's been a big important thing for me in my life with friends, family, that sort of thing. Or actually, I think the other day, a couple of weeks ago, it would have been now, we're testing all the gear for, you know, doing the podcast.
Oh, yeah, and you got pissy
as. Oh, I was pissed, wasn't I? I was pissed. And because I had problems, basic technical issues, setting up the microphone and getting it to work. And I've worked with microphones for many, many years now, and it's quite something I pride myself on, being really good at being able to set up that sort of stuff and getting the equipment to work really, really well. And we were setting it up and testing, and I couldn't get mine to work the way that it was supposed to, and I was quite pissed off, really, really was. And I'm trying to reflect on how I was. I probably came off as a bit of an asshole. I was probably really short, like, with my words. But hopefully I came out and kind of said, look, I'm pissed off right now. I need a moment to figure this out.
Yeah, so I think if memory serves me right, I think I got mine set up pretty much straight away, and then you were having trouble with your mic. I think we spent about an hour and a half on it. And then I think we just went and played some League of Legends. You're like, you know what, stuff it. I'm going to come back to this tomorrow.
Yep.
And so we went and hung out and did some shit.
I said I was going to come back to it tomorrow, but what did I do? I stayed up to 1 a.m. that day getting it fixed and then sorted it.
Yeah.
That's not healthy. Don't do that. Take the break, then come back to it the next day. That's what a better way of dealing with it is. So that's the point. We're all working on it. We're all working on getting better at it. There is an amazing quote from Martin Luther, not the Martin Luther you're probably thinking of. This Martin Luther was a German priest back in the 1500s. And his quote, was when I'm angry, I can pray well and preach well.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I really like that. I really like that. I do. For me, a lot of the time when I'm angry or feeling lots of different emotions, that's when my best creative side comes out. So I can go away and, I do like writing music, I like writing songs. If I'm angry and I can try and channel that energy into a creative project like a song, I find that I can make something that I'm really happy with. And then, as well as that, I've used all that angry energy and put it into that creative project. And I walk away feeling so much better about it, about my anger, and helps me kind of calm down, I guess.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely very similar in that I don't really spend much time creating. Like, I don't write my own songs. I used to write lyrics, but it's not my forte. But when I'm feeling at that point where I need to do something, like have that creative outlet, I do singing, and having that anger, like, just ready to unleash, is really powerful when it comes to singing. I, I have to control myself. Sorry, when it comes to using that anger and letting it out through my singing, I need to be careful that I don't blow my vocal cords out, because it comes out as extremely powerful and raw vocals, especially when I'm doing metal. And we'll probably touch on that later with when the songs come in. But yeah, so it's definitely a good fuel, and it's a healthy way to kind of take that edge off your anger, is to use it in a creative manner. Like, you're like, okay, fine, I'm angry, I accept that, I know why I'm angry, what am I going to do about it? And you take that and you use it in that creative process, or whatever outlet you've got. It doesn't have to be creative. Like, you could go for a run, you could do a gym session, like whatever it is that works for you to burn that anger off. Like, use it as fuel and drive. Like, right, as long as you're able to accept it and acknowledge it, understand where it's coming from, then it's not going to sit there and simmer in the background and come back to bite you later on.
Absolutely. Like, that's the worst thing you can do with it, right? Sit there, bottle it up, and then take it out on the people that you love, the people that you care about, who have got no idea, what's going on. And it's unfair to just assume that they'll understand what's going on. And, that ties into that communication as well. But like you said, going away, taking that alone time, stepping away, is something that helps. We did find our 5 tips to control temper. I'm sure there's millions out there. Please send in anything that's worked for you. Yeah, if you're listening. Top 5 tips for managing anger. This I've just found on a psychological healthcare blog. There's a few, so let's go through or rattle through them. First one, deep breathing. When you feel anger building, take a few deep breaths. Inhale slowly through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. This can help you calm down and think more clearly before reacting. I mean, that's you've heard, everyone's heard that one before, but that really goes.
Take a deep breath.
That goes well with singing, though. And I mean, that's a great one for calming nerves. That's really good for anything. And that's the thing. Not all of these are going to work for everybody. It's really, you got to try them out. Have you ever tried that one?
Yeah. So I sometimes will do like breathing exercises, and slow inhale through your nose, hold, slow exhale through your mouth. Try to like clear your head while you're doing it. But then also it's the same as singing, so that's how I tend to do it most of the time. Is I just sing. That is my breathing exercises.
Yeah. That's when I was going through uni, and we were So I was taking the vocal classes. One of the biggest things was, learn to breathe and calm your nerves and things like that before you jump up on stage and you perform. Things like that. Lying on the ground and kind of finding that moment of zen, breathing in, breathing out, controlling your breathing. It is a really good way of controlling lots of different things. Number two, unless you have anything else to say about deep breathing.
No, deep breathing. I got nothing to say, so I'm going to take over and read number 2 because it's my turn.
Yes,
exercise.
It's your turn.
Exercise is number 2. Physical activity can be a great way to release tension or reduce anger. Going for a walk or run, practicing yoga, or hitting a punching bag can all help you channel your anger in a healthy way. Me,
and you
the
said
gym.
that. You said that too, didn't you?
Yep, that's
Gym.
it.
Yeah,
get in there
Yep.
and just, obviously you need some sort of self-preservation in the back of your mind when you're doing this because you don't want to go in there, unleash all your anger and ruin yourself physically, and then you're going to be angry at yourself. But, go in there and just burn it out. Like maybe get an extra rep or 2 in a set, or maybe go up another 2.5 kilos on a weight. Like use it and burn it out. Get rid of it. Afterwards, you're going to be too tired to be angry.
Yeah. And that's good. I'm glad you could talk about that. Because I don't go to the gym. You've been going to the gym a little while now. Since you got back into it.
Since, I don't know, the start of December, I think it was.
Yeah, so basically what we're saying is don't piss off Christian. He's big now. Look out.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Well, for me, like I said, I don't go to gym. I don't set near a gym. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. That's just me, not for me. But I play the drums.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
If I'm really pissed, and I mean super pissed, like, I really need to let out a lot of energy, I jump on the kit, and my poor drum kit takes a pounding. I go out, but and that's to begin with. Yeah, I am really worked up, and then after that, then that creativeness kind of kicks in. I go, oh, hang on a second, I can try this, and then the more and more I play, the less it becomes about the anger, and the more it becomes about actually playing the drums, and that's something that I really love to do. So I guess that's another thing, doing something you love to do that can help.
Yeah.
That's all I've got for that second one. That's a good one. I really like that one. That might be my favourite. I'll wait till we get to the bottom. All right, number 3. Do you want to do number 3? Would I meant to do number 3?
No, you do it.
All right. Communication. Let's act like we haven't read through this before we did the podcast. It's not a surprise. Communication. We've already talked about. We've already talked about that. But that's good. So communication is one of the tips. Communication. Learning how to communicate your feelings effectively can help reduce anger. Practice using I statements to express how you feel without blaming others. Oh, okay. For example, instead of saying, "You always make me angry," try saying, "I feel frustrated when this happens."
Yep.
That's a good one. That's a massive one.
I can go into this one.
Yeah. Expand on it, please.
When I was, what were we? We were about 3 years into our relationship. My ex-wife and I, Kim, and we were set to get married. She went away to Adelaide to see her friends and family, have a hens night. When she came back, she called off the wedding. And so our relationship went to absolute trash. And I was sleeping in a separate room. We weren't really together. It was a very messy situation. And we decided to go to... I was already seeing a psychotherapist at the time. And they asked if I'd be interested in having Kim come along. Kim's my ex-wife. And doing like a bit of relationship rebuilding and see whether we could fix this. And so one of the incredible skills that we were taught was I statements. And they definitely help diffuse a situation and help you to effectively communicate, because when you tell somebody that you are feeling a certain emotion due to something they're doing, you need to be able to remove the accusation and the blame from your statement. So if you are able to communicate that you're accepting your part in that situation, then it's going to make the other person a lot more open to listening to what you say. Because, for example, if you say to somebody, hey, look, you didn't wash the dishes when you got home from work, and that made me really frustrated to walk home and see dirty dishes. And if you change that statement to, look, I'm feeling a little bit frustrated because when I came home, the dishes weren't done. Do you want to, have a talk about why you didn't do it? And that opens up a discussion. And obviously, it's not always going to work. Like, sometimes both parties are going to be fired up. And you both might have had a rough day at work, and you came home from work and didn't want to do the dishes, and then the other person's come home and they didn't want to do the dishes. And like, well, you've been home longer than I have. Why didn't you do it? And if you're both in that mindset, it is going to be hard to not have that kind of anger flare up. But if you're both, the more people that understand I feel statements, the easier it gets for everyone around. So still using Kim and I as an example, we both were taught how to use I feel statements. So when someone else uses an I feel statement, that kind of like training like triggers off in the back of your head, and you're like, okay, so this person's accepting their part in the problem that they're seeing. I need to be able to match them in this and approach it from a very reasonable level. Don't take it personally. Just because someone expresses that they're feeling anger or hurt over a situation doesn't necessarily mean that they are expressing it at you or blaming you for that. So it's such a maturity thing too, like to learn to control your anger. I didn't learn to control my anger until I was in my mid-20s, and it's gotten easier as I got older. And I think that's just a part of life, is that it's just, you can learn everything under the sun, but until you become mature, it's just knowledge. Like, it's hard to apply.
Yeah, and those I statements are awesome. Like, as you said, it opens up the ability to understand where the other person's at as well. If you are, I guess, angry at someone else for something, you may not understand everything that they're going through. So that I think that communication, it's a really big one. And those I statements, totally agree. I think you've hit the nail on the head with all of that. I don't really think I have much to add on to that. You've rounded it off perfectly. Next one. You want to do the next point? Step 5 or 5? We're doing 5 ways.
No, we're on 4.
We're on 4. Yep, point number 4. Go.
Relaxation techniques. Practicing relaxation techniques such as meditation or progressive muscle relaxation. Wow, there goes my stutter. I tried to put on a cool voice and I just stuttered through the whole thing. Right. Bogan voice.
Make sure you send in your comments about that. I'd love to hear.
Do you want me to try and do like a bit of an ASMR? And I'd be like, practicing relaxation techniques such as meditation or progressive muscle relaxation can help you manage stress and reduce anger. These techniques can help you learn to recognize when you're feeling tense and relax your body and mind.
Or you could just listen to Christian because that made me really relaxed. I don't know if everyone listening, but I'm relaxed now. No, that's really good, really good. I mean, I don't do a lot of meditation or anything like that myself, but I tell you what, I do have is a muscle massage gun. Those things are awesome. Have
Did you take
used
that
one?
off your girlfriend or?
No, no. I gave it to me for a Christmas or birthday present. I'm fairly certain. They're awesome, and I use it for
I
that
just
all the
thought they
time
were
for
like.
relaxation.
I just thought they were like devices that the shops could sell. And they were just, like
Not
PG
not the.
vibrators.
They pretty much look like them, to be honest. So it is a bit weird, especially with the noise and stuff. And if you got the door closes, and it can be a whole thing. Anyway, maybe keep the door open while you're using one. 'Cause people around you might think something else is going on.
Caleb's got his door shut, and all you hear is.
Oh my god!
Well, that's a relaxation technique. Like, let's not beat around the bush on that. Like, that is a definite relaxation technique. A bit of self-love
it is.
goes a long way.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. I guess talking in that regard, there is nothing wrong with that. But I remember when I was at uni, and oh gosh, I'd get stressed all the time. And this is not going where you think it's going either, by the way. But it's more than I used to do. Let's come back down to earth. I used to have about an hour and a half, 2 hour drive to uni on most days of the week. Don't ask me why I did that. It was crazy, but I loved my university. I was really happy where I went and did my degree. So it was worth the drive for me. But sitting in the car for that long period of time, I mean, you understand, Christian, with your work, your legs get cramped and sore and all that sort of thing. And then you come home after doing whatever it is, like even if you are a labourer or that sort of thing, you've got a really high intense job that requires a lot of, physical work. You come home and all of that built up like muscle cramps and stuff. That was a big, pusher of my anger. So, and my stress. Yeah. So I found that, being able to, whether, use your meditation or muscle relaxation exercises, whatever that might be, I found that really, really effective, for me. And when I was able to do that, take the time to do that, I felt better. My muscles felt better. I felt better in general. And the anger that was building up, a little bit of it went away. And it just probably meant that night I didn't go and have a fight with someone over something, something dumb.
Yeah.
So, I really like that one. It's a good one.
I have a point on relaxation techniques.
Okay.
So another lesson from my psychotherapist. I should actually find his card again and give him a shout out. But
yeah, we'll find that. We'll put that in the description.
Yeah. So this is a really good one. I did a bit TikTok on this because anger is one of the criteria for BPD diagnosis, and I went through and did TikToks on specific. There's 9 criteria for a BPD diagnosis, and I did one on anger, and so there is a physical manifestation of anger. And if you can recognize the physical symptoms of your anger, it becomes a lot easier to control. So my therapist made me think back to a couple of situations where I had just been angry. Like I was just angry. I remember like one situation still stands out to me. I was in the middle of our, what did we call it? It was form class. So that was like our, it's like our daily sign off for high school. So there was like a handful of kids from year 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 all in one class, and you'd show up and you'd get your name marked off.
Yep, I remember that.
And so I'd been injured in a footy game. I had a dodgy back at the time, and one of the guys in my form class was on my football team, and we were friendly with each other. Like, we hung out at lunchtime, and he walked past me, and he hit me in the middle of the back, and I still to this day don't remember exactly what happened. I went into a blackout rage, and so I obviously, when I calmed down, I came to and realized what I'd done. But essentially, the teacher told me that I basically kicked my chair and desk out from under me, grabbed him, pinned him to the blackboard, and proceeded to wail on him. And it took 3 people to stop me. So that, for me, when I think about that, I can remember how incredibly angry I was. And so he got me to think of these times that I was incredibly angry, and to think about what warning signs may have been there. And while I was talking to him, I started to get a little bit angry about the situation. And he's like, right, stop. He's like, take in your body, like right now, like, how are you holding yourself? And I was just like, what do you mean? Like I was still pretty angry when I started therapy. So I was like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, right. He's like, look at your shoulders. He's like, relax. You're in a room with just me. I'm not here. I'm not hostile. There's nothing else around you that's going to cause you any sort of emotional or physical stress. So why are you, your shoulders are like, you're set. You are a statue right now. And I was like, oh. And I relaxed my shoulders. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, right. Now, your jaw. When you start to get angry, you clench your jaw. And I was like, okay. And he's like, unclench it. If you unclench your jaw when you're getting angry, you remove that physical symptom of your anger, and it will like sort of release some of that pressure. Because if you start to tense yourself up and let your physical reactions to an outside stimuli take over, you're letting your body go into this fight or flight kind of thing, and that's when the anger starts to take control. So if you notice these symptoms before it becomes a problem and you start to alleviate them, you will have a much better handle on controlling your anger. And so that comes under the relaxation techniques, because if you're clenched up and ready to fight or flight, if you can relax, take a breath, and just let your body kind of like relax back into that normalcy, even if you're still in that situation, just taking control of the physical side of your body and just stopping it in its tracks. Makes a huge difference. And for me, that's my 2. I've got 3 or 4, 5. Okay, all right, whatever. Breathing. Regulate your breathing. If you start to get angry, your breath starts to quicken, which brings your heart rate up. Slow it down. Yes. Just slow your breathing down. Your jaw starts to tighten. You clench it. You're like, I'm really fucking annoyed right now. Unclench it. Just like clench your jaw now, and you'll feel it. You're like, and then you unclench it, and it's like, oh, that's a release. Like it's a relief. It's a physical relief. And then the same as your shoulders. What's that?
Yeah, I was just because you clench your jaw and your whole body kind of like, flares up. You release it, and just that weight kind of comes off.
Yeah, and it's such a like a
difference.
It's such like a what's the word? It's like it's in the back of your head. Like you don't control that. Your jaw will just clench up. Like you don't physically control it. A subconscious action. It's an absolute subconscious action. You need to learn to identify these things and stop them. So that's breathing, jaw, shoulders. You set your shoulders. You're ready. You tense. You're ready to do something. Just chill, man. Like just shake it out a little bit.
That's it. Yeah, have a dance. I mean, they all coincide with each other. All these points we've been talking about, really, don't they?
Yep.
They all mix in with each other and work off of each other, which leads into the next one, the timeout, which we've already discussed, haven't we? That's the last point that they've got here.
Sort
Time
of,
out. Yeah. So sometimes the best way to manage anger is to take a break from the situation. If you feel yourself getting angry, take a step back and give yourself time to calm down before responding. This can help you avoid saying or doing anything you might regret later, which I know for a fact I've fallen into that trap. You know, that's a rough one. It really is. You know, I'm thinking about it now. I'm thinking, wow, if I had only just gone and taken that time out, how many situations could have been avoided, and you know, it's just that's you could use these as like they're 5 ways, but you could almost use this as a step-to-step process. I mean, it could work in different ways for different people, for you and for me and anyone else listening. Using these in a different order may work really well. Like if you use them one after another. You know, for me, I'd probably have to take the time out first. I'd then probably have to go and do that exercise. I've got to take the time out. I've got to get on my drum kit. I got to smash the drums around for a little bit. But the problem that I probably face is I don't communicate that. I think that's where I make a lot of my mistakes is I haven't communicated yet that I'm pissed off, that I'm going to go take a time out, and I'm going to go and play my drums. So I think it's just finding the right balance between all of those steps or points or ways that you can manage your anger and tying them all together in the best way that works for you. Yeah.
It also it's such a situational thing as well. So using you as an example, so you were saying take your time out, go do your drum kit, rah. Sometimes you can't do that. And you need to, and that's why it's essential to have all 5 of those things. Sorry. It's essential to have all 5 of those things on hand because sometimes you are going to need to mix and match your order or just completely remove some of the steps because you can't do it. If someone's in your face trying to start something with you, you can't just be like, hey, I don't like this. I'm going to go play my drum kit now.
Well, that's it, because I don't have it in my backpack.
I wish. Imagine like an Iron Man suit for a drum kit. You press the button, the whole drum kit.
You know, I saw the other day, on social media, it must have been Facebook or something, there was this guy who had a motorbike and he had set up a drum kit around his motorbike and he'd pulled up at a set of lights and was able to put himself in neutral. He's just sitting there, pulls out his sticks, and he's got a full functional working drum kit on his motorcycle. I thought that was fantastic. That would be amazing for road rage. I try not to be, but sometimes I can be a bit of a road rager. So look out if you're in Brisbane, you're driving near me. Be careful. No, I'm just kidding. I'm really not.
Be careful. Really not. Be careful, says the short guy. Just go kick him in the head. Like you'll be fine. You'll take him.
In my silly hatchback of a car. It's not anything serious. Anyway, but yeah, I thought that was really cool. That would be awesome. Have a motorbike with your kit, and just no matter where you went, you could just take it around. But anyway, something cool I said. We just on that. Well, we're gonna have a quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with you soon. The Pain in Our Head podcast is proudly sponsored by Music Magic Co. and Brisbane rock band The Flying Circus. Visit the links in the podcast description for more information. Back to the show. Okay, welcome back to the Anger from Pain episode that we are talking about at the moment. It's been awesome so far. We've gone over a whole heap of different content. I've really enjoyed talking about it.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's been really good, actually. It's time for the best part of the podcast. We're going to talk about the music. I think it's good having the music towards the end. I'm liking this at the moment. We get all the other stuff out of the. Not that all the other stuff is bad. It's really nice to end on a high with the awesome music we're going to talk about. So this week's music that we're chatting about is, I guess, music that we listen to when we're angry. Music that we. Oh yeah. We should go over where we listen to it as well. I think that's important. I think that's really important because as you said before too, you haven't always got your headphones with you. You're not always sitting in the car. You're not always at somewhere. I mean, usually, who doesn't have a phone on them carrying it around these days? But even if you don't, like, you might not have your phone on you or a device that you can listen to music. So it'll be interesting to know where we listen to these particular songs. Rock, paper, scissors, or do you want to hit yours first?
I went first last week, so I think it's your turn.
Right. Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. When I am pissed off and I want to listen to a song that I think will help me, it has to be Cut Me by Cold Rain. Brilliant song. It's quite an aggressive song. Really short, sharp phrases, and I love jumping into the car, pumping that bad boy at max volume, and just screaming the roof off the car. There is no better feeling, especially when you're really pissed off, than just screaming those lyrics. And you spoke about it too earlier in the episode about not going too hard because you can hurt your vocal cords. And I've done that a few times, and you don't want to do that. It sucks because then you're out of singing for at least a few days before your good voice comes back. And then I know that when I can't sing, I'm depressed, and that's I think we'll get into that. I could do a whole episode on that, but nevertheless, right. But nevertheless, I got to be careful at not screaming too hard and not bursting out my vocal cords. But it's good for control practice, really, when you think about it. You're a singer, you like singing. I'm always trying to better my singing and get better at it. It's a good way of practicing, your limits and practicing being able to, if you are screaming or even if you're just singing, it doesn't have to be a really heavy, crazy song. I mean, my example, yes, is, but that you might not have that. You might have a much more quieter song even, but you might like listening to that when you're angry because of the lyrics and the way that song makes you feel. So, anyway, that's my song. Great song, by the way. That's Cut Me by Cold Rain. Go give it a listen. Shout out to Cold Rain. Awesome music. Really awesome stuff. What's your song?
I'm going to throw you under the bus here real quick because something popped into my head.
Do it.
There.
Good.
I'm sorry that I keep clearing my throat too. It's killing me today.
No, that's fine.
You said it doesn't have to be a heavy song. Sometimes you might have like a really happy song that like gets you going. Like, do you have a second song? Like, do you have a happy song that just really makes you go, fuck yeah, I'm in such a good mood?
Well, I mean, thank you for throwing me under the bus. I have thought of something. Not that I actually use it, but I'm trying to think of it. I know the name. I don't know who it's by. I'm going to look it up because I'll feel bad. Okay. But you might know.
Well, I'll do mine too because I've got them off.
I'm sure it's called. All right.
Yeah, because I've got mine too. As soon as you said it, I was like, boom, okay. I've got this. Right. So, obviously I said in our intro video, I think it was, that I am a massive metalhead. So my song that I use when I am absolutely just ready to throttle someone, I'll step away and I will listen to Unanswered by Suicide Silence. Now, that song is absolutely brutal. It's got fry screams, it's got growls. I love doing vocal changes through songs. It wears me out. It's a very good exercise in breathing techniques. And you've got to think about what you're doing. Like, it takes your mind away from that, like, this is making me angry because I'm struggling to keep my breath trying to sing along to it. And like, nothing makes me feel better than just absolutely belting along to a filthy, filthy vocal line with just dirty sounding growls, as Caleb would know, because I sent him videos all the time of me just going all the fucking time for like every day, minute and a half videos of just filthy vocals.
I get them every day.
So
I love them. I do. I really do.
Yeah, I love doing them, and it just makes me feel great. And like, that's how I like curve my anger off. If I'm starting to feel triggered, I'll use that. But if I really want to really knock it out of the park, make myself feel happy, I will listen to hardcore, or it's either hardcore or Highway to Mars. Both are from Beast in Black, and they're both power metal. So there's no screaming or growls. They're just really like upbeat. Like, oh yeah. There's like really like catchy choruses. Yep. And I can't sing them for shit because Giannis is an absolute legend at singing. But that's my happy song. So I'll use Unanswered to curve that anger off, and then to really bring myself, like uplift myself, I'll play them, and I'll be air drumming because I can't drum, and just, singing along. It doesn't matter if I sound like shit because I don't care. I'm having fun.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely. That's good. I guess what I thought of when you kind of asked me before is some people might have a little bit more of a more upbeat song or a more calmer song to listen to when they're angry. I mean, I can think of two songs, and it's just in the name. It's literally in the name. These two songs are both called "Fuck You," right? And I'm pretty sure they're both pop songs. So the first one that I'm thinking of is by CeeLo Green. I don't want to embarrass my, but it's just like "fuck you, and fuck you too." So I think it goes like that. Yeah. I don't listen to it, but you know the song.
I think I do.
The other one is "Fuck You" by Lily Allen. God, I don't even actually remember how that one goes, but there you go. Like, there's two pop songs, I would say, that the lyrics behind them. I can get them, but remembering listening to those songs, there's obviously a bit of anger behind those lyrics. I mean, to call your song, "Fuck You," that there would have to be, right? So I guess, there's a couple of examples. Like, you don't have to be listening to metal or hard rock and stuff that we kind of like, to get the same outcome. So be really, really good. I'm glad you put me on the spot there because it made me think about those two songs, and I think it really fits what we were going on about. So really good, excellent. They're great. What an awesome music discussion. Really good. I really like when you said you really like doing the fry screams and stuff, and trying to change the different vocals that you're doing in a particular song, and how that helps wear you out and that can get rid of your anger. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yes. I lost my train of thought, but it's gone. Sorry. Wow. It's just like gone. I can't even see it on the wall. It's gone. I lost it. But I think we've covered pretty much everything that we wanted to cover today. And hit us up. Like, let us know what anger management things work for you. Whether it might have been something that we've listed today, or it might be something that we've completely forgotten because we don't know everything as much as I'd like to think I do. I don't know everything. I just live in denial over in Egypt. So, it is what it is. Like, yeah, hit us up. Let us know. Send through your emails.
Yeah.
And even go to our Facebook page,
Yep.
Instagram page, YouTube page, leave a comment, send a message, whatever.
Yep.
Just, reach out to us if you want. And
Yep.
I think that's kind of nailed everything out for today. So I'm done
Yeah.
with you, Caleb.
Yeah, fantastic. No, well rounded off. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Send in your questions, emails. I'll put the email over somewhere, but it is the Pain in Our Head podcast @gmail.com. So send in anything you want, questions, anything you have about the show. And we will see you in our next episode. So looking forward to it. The next episode is going to be an awesome one, and we will see you then. And it's okay to not be okay. Talk to you next time.
See you later.